What's happening, people? Welcome back to the channel. Right, today we're not actually doing anything that stupid particularly. Taking swirl flaps out of this 335D E9X 3, whatever it is. First we need to take all this shit off, so I'm just going to start. I've not had this off before, but I've got an idea of which order to do it in, so I'm just going to start taking stuff off until I can get to the engine cover and then get to the manifold. So let's just start taking stuff off and hope for best. Right, so we've sucked some screws out and we've got our specially selected tub to put our bolts in. Try not to lose that many of them, but we'll see how it goes. So I've took the bolts out the pollen filter, the little bolts, pollen filter housing, because I'm going to have a look at it anyway, because well, I'm giving it a bit of a service, a little bit of a service. It's had an oil change, that's why it's jacked up to level it out. So I'm going to take all this shit off, and yeah, you can see what I'm trying to do. Clips. The pollen filter actually clips into this part of the pollen filter, and pulled that off. There's a pollen filter settling on the floor with some pollen. Right, next thing to take off. I need to get this off, so I need to see where that's bolted on. So I'll find that and then I'll show you. Right, so we've took these covers off on both sides, and then there's an 8mm bolt there, and then that gives you a little bit more manoeuvration. So now we need to disconnect these wires and pull this out of the way, because I'm going to be pulling this off. This is on little clips that slide off. But I have to leave that in place, probably be easier. So I'm going to just pull all this shit off anyway, and then I'm going to come back when all that's off, and I'll take this engine cover off as well, which once that's off it's just a few bolts, and then we'll start from there. Right, so we've got a little bit more access now. These strut braces could be in the way. There's a little plug there to get to the centre bolt. These are inverted Torx, but I mean this one an 11mm hex will fit, and that one a 40mm hex will fit if you don't have the right tool, which I do have the right tool, I just can't bother go and getting the right tool. So yeah, I'm going to take some more stuff off again. Right, so a bit further in, and this has got to come off, and this is designed to be a little bit annoying, I think, because it just about doesn't fit out. But anyway, there's 310mm there, so I'm assuming this is going to slide out, and then this will fit out then. Right, so now we can see all the bolts for the inlet manifold nearly. We need to disconnect this and this. Disconnect the EGR. That vac line doesn't look great, but we'll have a look at that. Sometimes it's worth doing the vac lines when you're taking this off, actually. Map sensor, dipstick is I think a 10mm or something on the bracket, under there somewhere. Just follow it down. So we'll take all that off, and then we're going to lift our manifold off. Right, so I've disconnected all the stuff I can see, that's obvious. Map sensor, dipstick. Now I'm going to start taking this off. Now I'd suspect that there's going to be some sensors and shit underneath this. And another thing you really want to be careful for is when you're undoing these, there's little sort of rubber washers with washers built into them which go on the inside. You do not want them dropping into your ports, especially these ones down here, because they're really hard to see if you've dropped one in, so you want to be careful of that. So yeah, I'm going to unbolt these, and then hopefully it'll lift up. Well, it should lift up, and then we'll have a look underneath and get some access and see if there's any more stuff plugged in under there. Right, so I've took all these bolts out and it's loose. Now it'll lift up so far, but there is something still holding it. And if you look down here, there's some brackets and shit on the back. They're 10mm. Now these clips could come off, but then there's other pipes and stuff to come off, so I'm just going to take the bracket off. Let's see if it moves anymore. Yeah, I changed my mind and just unclipped the pipes instead. But there is also another plug down here, another unit, which is probably for the swirl flaps. If you can see that, need to unplug that as well. Right, so that's the manifold off, and these are the swirl flaps. Yes. And at this point, you want to make sure you've got all these washers, and sort of do an head count on them, because believe it or not, in the past I've had it where I've took one off on my own car and the washer was down in one of them, and you couldn't see it. I had to get a bore scope out and everything, and it hadn't just fallen there. It had looked like it had been there for a while, and it was all bent and everything. So I don't know how long it had been there. The manifold had already been off before I got the car. Swirl flaps had already been took out. I took it off just to clean it out and fuck about, to be honest with you. On this one anyway, taking swirl flaps out, they've already been blanked off. Well, not blanked off, they've been disconnected, but they're still in there, and we don't want them falling in the engine, so we're going to take them out. So I'm going to go and take them out and clean it. Clean all this shit off as well when you put it back on, all this crap. Bit of brake cleaner and a rag should do that. Right, so now we've got this off, it's time to take the piss flaps out, which is them. And this is the blanking kit, they're the blanks, new gaskets. So let's click this off. Nice and lovely. Probably should use my tripod for this, but I don't know where it is. Right, so we've clicked that off there, and we're going to click it off over at this end as well. And this should just, it's like a ball sack joint. Away with this. We also need to take this off so we can get to these torques here, and that's a T20. So I'm going to take this off and then remove this, and then hopefully I can pull that off. So now all this is loose, and this just wants to be clipped off. There we go. We'll leave that dangling for now because we need to get to these. So we're going to take them out, which I think again will be T20s. Yeah. So you just take all them out. So we'll do that now. So now we've took all these little screws out, and then these just pull out. And this is the swirl flaps that you're getting rid of. This is the bit that you don't want to fuck up and go into your engine. And this operates like that sort of thing. And if you can see that now, nice and clean. So that brings us on to the next step. Once we've took all these out, we're going to clean manifold inside with this. I don't know if anyone's watched my other video, but I've tried this. Well, I've tried this stuff before, but I've also shown it working in a previous video. And this stuff is quite good. It's quite strong, very strong. I won't advise drinking it or anything. That's up to you. And now breathing it in, you can sort of like smell that it's quite good. But it's for cleaning ovens, so ovens are full of this sort of shit. Anyway, we're just going to lather it full of this shit, leave it to soak for a bit, and then we're going to get our big dildo brush and clean it out. Yes. Yeah, so I'll leave that soaking. I might as well go and clean up the cylinder head where this bolts onto. Just wipe it off. Right, so we've given our inlet ports a little bit of a clean off. Now let's go and finish manifold off. Right, so now we've given it an oven cleaner and a bit of scrub. Unfortunately, the only real way to do this is manually, and you're going to get covered in shit doing it. So anyway, these are the blanks that we're putting in. So these just go into here, where the swirl flaps came from, obviously times 6. Before you put them in, a bit of a WD-40 or something, just to let the seals go in better. Push that in. I'm going to try and push that in just a minute. Right, so that's how they sit. Screws are just screwed back in, push in. These are very tight to push in on this one. Not sure if they're always like that, but these ones are really tight, and I've actually had to sort of squeeze them in with the screws, just sort of doing one on each side a little bit until it goes in. It's not hard to screw it in, but it's stiff to push it in, you know. Right, so we've fitted our new gaskets. These ones are not fitted because they're still in good condition, and them ones seem to be nicer than the new ones. They seem to be just not more supple, so I've left them old ones in there. All these are fitted, so they're the blanking kits fitted, and then there's this. I put this back on and just sort of, well, just put it back in place, but without the rod on and without them on, without the swirl flaps, which are them shitters there. So yeah, now it's time to put it back on car. When we put it on car, we need to make sure that we plug that in and plug everything back in, so it thinks that the swirl flaps are there. Otherwise, it's going to cause us problems. So yeah, let's do that. So dropping it back into place, you need to lift this up with one hand, and then you need to put it in so that you're not banging into these studs here, because if you knock the washers off, they're going to fall where you really don't want them to fall. So now, you need to plug back in the swirl flap actuator, which is under there. I can't really see it, but it's down there. Everything that we took off before we need to put back on. I'm just going to crack on with it now because it's not promising for pissing down. Right, we're nearly there now. Put all this back on the way it came. I forgot to put the collar back on. And just when you're taking this off, if you're doing one of these on an E9X, there's all these little stupid clips that going everywhere to hold all the rubbers together. So it's sort of like, well, don't forget them really. Yeah, that's all back in there, finished. We haven't even got any bits left, so that makes a change. Anyway, feel free to like, subscribe, watch my other videos, that's welcome as well. This is a bit of a boring sort of, it's serious, nothing serious, but it's not a fuck about video like most of them. But yeah, don't be shy, check out the other ones if you want. Peace out.